Hey, it's not Wednesday night, it's Sunday afternoon. This is our very first Sunday broadcast of Open Shutters. So, huge thanks to Kemi for taking the time to chat about her photography. Just had to work around Kemi's schedule, obviously. So, again, but we missed the show two weeks ago, so this show kind of makes up for it. So, in theory, we haven't actually missed a show in like 27 months. So, huge thanks to Kemi for taking the time. And yeah, if you don't know what we're doing here, if you don't know what the show's about, we just like to talk to people who make things, people that are into photography, that make videos, that paint, that play music. If you make something, we love to have you on. So today we have Kemi on, and I actually met Kemi, I think, at one of the Get Out Shoot big beginner workshops a few months ago. So I just figured invite her on because she has some really great work, and she has an equally great story about how she got into photography. So yeah, I don't know, maybe for the viewers and for the listeners out there on Spotify or Google Podcasts, maybe just a quick intro about yourself, Kemi.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, and also thanks
Yeah,
for working around my schedule. I know you guys don't usually do it on Sundays.
never. I love it.
All right.
It's too
Um,
it's too hot to be outside today. Just put it that way.
Definitely is, and it's good that we're staying inside. It's a good excuse
Yeah.
to not leave the house today.
Hmm.
So I'm Kemi Lo, and then Anton's my fiance's last name.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I'm 20. I'm 26, and I just started photography. I would say like 7 months ago. I'm still quite new in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I'm a musician. I'm a violinist. I'm a teacher, and I teach at Havergal College at Midtown. It's a all girls private school. Um, and yeah, I went to school for music, and here
Yeah.
I am trying to be
Yeah.
a photographer.
Yeah. We were just chatting offline about like what do you like more, the music or like the photography?
Photography.
Photography. And
Yeah.
is there a certain reason for it?
No, I just like it
You just
more.
like it more. It just kind of speaks to you more.
Yeah, with to be honest, I love teaching. Like I do love teaching a lot. I'm just not like the most passionate about music
Okay.
anymore. Um
Hmm.
but I do love teaching, and like that
Yeah.
kind of like offsets my like maybe not like as like just not liking like the violin anymore as much
Right.
anymore. Yeah.
Right. So you've been doing music like your whole life essentially?
Yeah, practically since I was
Okay.
like 11 or 12.
Mhm.
So I guess by violin standards, that's a little bit later than most people start, or most professional
Okay.
violinists start. But yeah, practically my whole life, like I was in choir and stuff like that. That was really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So how did you get in, like what like how did you get into photography? Like what was that transition like for you?
Um, Basically, well, I've always been interested in photography. And I remember like being in high school, I took a photography class, but it
Yeah.
was film photography.
Mm.
And I've always been interested in like looking at photography and like taking photos with my phone. But I don't know, I was always really intimidated by like
Yeah.
learning about like aperture and shutter speed. Like I didn't understand. No matter how hard I tried, I just didn't understand that, like, the bigger the hole, the greater
Mhm.
depth
I know
of.
it's always the opposite. Always the
Yes, it
opposite.
was the thing, the fact that it was always the opposite, like it just
Yeah,
like confused me.
it throws me off still too.
It still does throw me off until
Yeah.
this day. I just remember it by like the knob of like my
Mm.
camera. Like to the left means this and to the right means this. Like I don't
Yeah.
try doing like I and then sometimes when people ask me like, "Oh, what's your camera setting?" That's difficult for me to explain because I'm just like,
It's
it's like
yeah, no, I mean, like honestly, like especially when people starting photography, there's just so much to learn, and there's just so many like terms thrown at you that it's
yes.
easy to get lost in all those details. And I think it stops people from like pursuing it, because for me it's like I just started taking a bunch of photos. I'm not worrying too much about like the settings, and I just focus more on like my eye, right? So
Right.
I think any way that you can make it fun, you're going to do it the next day and the next week and the next month, and then over time you're going to understand like what all the dials would do, right? So people learn different ways, but if people get stuck in all the settings, like don't worry so much about that. Like worry about just like composition, right? Because for me that's what makes it fun, trying to make something out of like nothing essentially, right? Like try to like frame a shot in your head,
Mhm.
and over time you're just going to walk down the street and just see shots in like, just oh, there's a shot because you've trained yourself that way, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but I feel like in general, I also have like this issue in general with everything where
Yeah.
I have a hard time doing something and starting something if I know I'm not going to be good at it. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time not being good at something that I do, especially
Yeah.
if it's in the like the arts because
Yeah.
I've always been really like I've always been really artistic.
Yeah.
So with photography, like I don't know, I was like, if I don't understand the settings, like I don't want to do it. Like if I don't
Right.
like if my photos don't look as good as the ones that I see
Yeah.
like, professionals doing, then
Yeah.
I don't want to do it and I don't want to touch
Yeah.
it because I don't want to be bad at
Interesting.
it. Yeah, and
Interesting.
that's with everything. That's with everything that I've
That's
done.
with everything. It's
Yeah.
always got to be good from like the start, eh? Interesting.
Yes, yeah, and, like, that stops
Interesting.
me from doing a lot of things through like,
Really?
I'll start something, I'll realize that, like, "Hey, this is a lot of work," and,
Yeah.
I'm not, like, immediately good at it, and then
Yeah.
I'll just stop. I'll just be like, "You know what?
Okay.
No, I
So
don't
how
want."
did you like so like with like photography then like how long did it take you to like kind of like get rolling like where you were like okay I can do this kind of thing like was it like right away or did it take you some time with
Um,
regards to saying I can actually do something with this, you know?
so basically, I had an old, crop frame DSLR lying around. It was
Mhm.
one that my dad bought me, like, years ago. It was a Nikon D3200, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, my fiance who's watching, it makes me a little bit
Okay. Hi fiance. Does he have a name?
worry.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Put
I actually
put something
got
in the comments.
sorry?
Tell him to put something in the comments.
Yeah, maybe if she wants to.
Yeah.
But I actually because she mentioned that she wanted to do like landscape photography. And so like as like a Christmas gift, I don't remember if it was a Christmas or a birthday. It was Christmas. As a Christmas gift, I decided to like fix up. Oh, there she is. Hi.
There.
Hi.
There you go. Just talking.
So as like a Christmas gift, I decided to like fix up the camera and then buy like two lenses. I think I got like a landscape lens. I don't even remember which one I got because I ended up returning that one.
Yeah.
And then I got the Nifty 50 because I
Yep.
read that like that was like a good
Yep.
camera to start with. And at this
Yeah.
time I still didn't know like anything about cameras. So I went to Downtown Cameras and I was just
Mhm.
talking to them. And as I was talking to them, I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna like ask some questions about photography, like while I'm here. And
Yeah.
then I ended up having like a really good conversation with Nigel,
Yeah. Yeah.
who's really, really sweet. And yeah, like I was like, okay, cool. So I gave her the camera and she was like, oh my God, like thanks so much. I love you, whatever. And she didn't end up using it
Oh.
because she's just so busy with other stuff that
Oh.
she just couldn't do it.
Huh.
So I was like, you know what? Like I have a fixed up camera and I have two lenses that I don't know how to use.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just going to it's I feel like after COVID, we're all like trying to like reinvent ourselves. So I was like,
Mhm.
you know what? Like this will be good practice for me to learn how to follow through with projects. And
Yeah.
this good practice for me. It wasn't about photography initially, even though I did like it. It was about me learning how to just like let go of the idea of being like immediately good at something and be
Mhm.
okay with the idea of like not like maybe you're not good at it but maybe you can be good at it.
Mhm.
And I think because of the way I was raised I always like saw everything that I do as a way to like make money,
Right.
because like fiscally we didn't have we were in like a tough spot like when I was a kid. So everything that I did was like my mom would be like you like with the violin she'd be like you can't quit because I paid a lot of money and if you quit then you can't get that money back. Like you
Mhm.
have to somehow like you have to be a professional now,
Mm. Talk
so
about pressure.
sorry.
Talk about pressure, right?
Yeah, and there
Mm,
were times when I was younger when I wanted to quit the violin, but I remember my mom always saying like, "No, you can't because we invested a lot of money and now
mhm.
you have to be a professional and make the money back." Um, and
Hmm.
had I not had that pressure, I probably would have quit the violin a long time ago. Um,
Mhm.
so I think like at first, photography was just like a fun way to kind of like unlearn those behaviors and be like, you know what, like I don't have to
Mhm.
be like perfect and I don't have to think of this as a way to like make money and be like a professional,
Yeah.
be like crazy good and be like this. I can just like take photos and take it easy and see where it goes. And it could just like if like it could just be a hobby if I want it to be. And like don't chase photography for like the wrong reasons. Like do it because you actually enjoy it and not because you want to like make money out of it, and like start like I don't know, start like a photography studio, like things like that.
Yeah.
Um, so so yeah, so that's basically how I got into it, and then I ended up really liking it. I ended up just like really like, oh, like this is quite nice. And I went on YouTube, I watched like a ton of videos, and like
Mhm.
I like took notes and I like treated it like a course, like a class.
Yeah.
And like I went back to downtown camera and I just like and I spoke to Nigel. I was just like, okay, you need to tell me everything that like I have all these questions and I just need to know everything. And then I took a bunch of photos by myself just with a few friends, and yeah, and I was just like, oh damn, like these look nice. Like, they're not like they're
Yeah.
greatest, but like they're nice. And like my friends really like them. And like, my fiance, of course, like she has to say, like, oh, they're so nice. But uh,
Shout out Marie. Shout out Marie.
yeah, yeah. But like but then like I was looking at like my photos and I was just like, you know what? Like um I feel like I do have like an eye for it, and I feel like
Yeah.
like I can produce better photos, and that like maybe it is just a hobby, like I don't know yet, but I know that like I can do better than this. So that's when I found I went on like meetup and I joined like a bunch of like photography meetups. And actually
Mhm.
this is Get Out and Shoot is like the only I joined a bunch, but Get Out and Shoot is the only one that I do.
Yeah.
Because it's like the chillest one. Everything else it seems a bit
Yeah.
too
That's
too
what yeah. That's always the goal, is to make it as casual as possible, because like I said earlier, like it can be pretty intimidating for people, right? So if you make it like a casual environment, people are more responsive,
Yes,
you
yes,
know?
and, like, I, like, was really intimidated by, like, the other ones that, like it was, like, you
Yeah.
have to have, like, the wizard wand, and I'm like, "I don't know what that is," and you have to have, like,
Mm.
flash. I still don't have flash, like, I still haven't bought it yet.
Mhm.
Um, so I ended up joining, like, Get Out and Shoot, and, like, I was, like, so nervous going into it that I almost just didn't go, but then I
Yeah. I'm
went.
glad you went.
Yeah, and then I, like, met you, and I
That's
met
how we met.
yeah, and I met, like, Brian, who's been
Right, yeah.
so helpful, like, with everything. Yeah, he's been so helpful, he's so sweet.
Mm.
And then I met Joy as well,
Yeah.
who's
You guys
also.
had a ball that day, eh?
Sorry?
You guys had a ball that day.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We just
It was fun.
connected, we were just like, "Hey."
Yeah.
Um,
'Cause
but
I thought you guys were friends, like, you guys were friends and you came as friends, but no, we actually just met now. I'm like, "Oh, okay, because
yeah,
it
yeah,
seemed
we
that
just
way, right?"
met, I think, like,
Yeah.
she's very, oh, I don't know if she's extroverted or not, but, like, she appears so, and then I also
Yeah.
am very extroverted, so we just kinda, like,
Yeah.
connected.
Good.
So, like, we shot together the other day, and we did, like, a few projects together, so, like, it's pretty cool, and, like, it's so fun to, like, network and, like, meet new people and talk to new people, and I wish that I had more time to do that,
Mhm.
but unfortunately I don't, but whatever time that I have, it's either working my day job, like
Yeah.
taking my dog out on a walk or photography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, that it's so easy not to do it. So that, you need to find a way that you can kind of keep that discipline going.
Right.
If it's shooting every day or like twice a week or 3 days a week, whatever like the goal is, like as long as people have that kind of like goal to pick up the camera,
Mm.
because otherwise you're just not going to do it, right? Like it's there's so many distractions out there that it's just so easy not to do it. So that's why I always keep saying, like, if you're not having if you're not having fun, then you're not going to do it the next day. So
Yeah, yeah,
you still do
definitely.
it, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
but I'm glad you kept going, right? So I don't know. Do you want me to show a few photos off your Instagram feed, and then maybe you can kind of cherry pick some ones that you like?
Sure, but my
Yeah.
Instagram feed also has like some reels as well.
Yeah.
Um, and I, and like personally, like I think that reels are a really good way to grow, but
Yeah.
it
Well,
can be
that's
really,
what IG is now Reels, right?
yes, yes, it is, but it can be really like difficult for me to make. Oh, this isn't a reel. That first photo.
This one
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, so this is my
Yeah. Cool.
friend Daria.
Yeah.
She's beautiful, and well,
Yeah.
all my friends are beautiful. But she's a cellist, and she's actually a very very good cellist, very well known cellist here in Toronto.
Okay.
And yeah, like she is just like such a natural poser, and I always have
Yeah.
fun taking photos of her. I like I also have more photos of her, like if you scroll down my Instagram. But this one was kind of like an impromptu shot. We were kind of just like messaging each other, and I did, so this was with the light brush, which, like, you know, it's a
Yeah.
brush with light coming out of it, and you just like kind of paint over it, long exposure. So I did this technique with Joy, actually, and the photos turned out really well. So I kind of just wanted to try it again. So I just messaged Daria, and I was just like, hey, like,
Yeah.
you want,
Exactly.
like, you want some more photos? Like, can we do this shoot together? So I went over to her house, and we just kind of impromptu took
Love
these
it.
photos.
Love it.
And yeah, we both really like it. The first one, I think, like, I don't know, I think the way that she's posing, I think she's just
Hmm.
so beautiful, and so
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like there's something about the way that she looks in this one that I really really love. But unfortunately this one doesn't have her cello in it, so she didn't end up posting it on her Instagram. I know, which I was like, no, my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was really nice. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Also, this one.
that's a reel. You can watch. I mean, it's a bit. I think like me doing reels is a bit cringy,
No,
but
it's cool. I dig it. I dig it.
anyway
I dig
because
it. You guys, but look at that. Look at the results. I like that black and white one.
yes, the black and
Very
white
cool.
one Joy actually used for her Instagram profile picture.
Yeah, it's really
So,
good. Like, it's really good.
and you know what? When we went to the meetup, the get out and shoot, the first time that me and Joy met each other, I took a photo
Yeah.
of her.
Yeah.
And it was just like a casual, just like a boop, photo. And she ended up using that as
Yeah.
her like profile picture. So I've taken
Yeah.
like two of her profile pictures now.
Yeah. No, it's honestly like the light is hitting just right. I love
Yeah.
that. It's like a
I really
triangle. Oh,
I really love looking for like just like a little like splash of like just like a splash of light and just like hitting
mhm.
the eye, like one of the eyes. I think like that's like a
Yeah.
really cool. And you'll actually see that type of shot in another photo shoot that I did with another friend.
Okay.
Um
Is it further down?
it is further down. So if you
Yeah.
scroll down, um my photos have changed a lot.
Oh, they're so
it
good though. I love the color here too. So good.
Yeah, yeah, I that was Pride, and very, very colorful.
So good.
Keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Sorry, it's like way down. Okay, yeah, that's it. Wait, no, go back up. Yeah, up, 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 up. And it's up. So the one to the left or to the right, depending on. Yeah, that one. Nope.
I left your right.
That was a fun shot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's
So
the shot at?
I don't remember.
Mhm.
We
Somewhere in
started at, I think we started at Union Station, and
Okay.
we just walked, like we just walked, and we were making our
Mhm.
way to a parking lot, a specific parking lot. But we like, and I don't remember the parking lot now, but I don't know, like I just love like shadows like on the face. This one's nice too, but like I don't know, something about on the face, it's really beautiful. And the first photo I posted on Instagram,
Mhm.
the first photo I posted on Instagram, the first photo I took the first photo that I like properly took with my camera. It was on my old camera, my old
Yeah.
I have a new camera now. I have a full frame now, but
Nice.
my old camera is of my fiance Marie with
Okay.
like just like a slit of like sunlight, and I think that's like very very beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just love it.
Absolutely. Like again, that's that's the great thing about just paying attention to like where the light is, right? So if
Mhm.
you're paying attention to where the light is, you can really make your photo pop.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
I just love it when people do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is May Reed. This is I she's one of my friends from where I used to work
Hmm.
for not photography, for music.
Hmm.
Very very good singer, and yeah, she's a very
Excellent.
beautiful girl as well, and like I had a lot of fun taking photos of her.
Excellent. Love it.
Hmm.
Yeah. I like the ones that I like these ones. These are super cool.
So this is Daria again.
Super cool.
She's just so easy to take photos of. She's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, her posture is so good that like everything she does is just so nice. This was at the Aga Khan,
Yeah.
and um, so I went on their website to like check like what like if they allow photographers, and
Yeah.
wrote on their website on
Yeah.
like inside you're not allowed, but outside you are allowed, like feel free to take photos. I'm like, great. So we
Yeah.
went there, we got all of our stuff. It was a trek. I came from like all the way downtown because like I had something to do at like 7 a.m. and
Yeah.
this was like at like 11 a.m. So it was like just like a constant like it was only morning, but like it was like a long day. So we trekked all the way here to Aga Khan, and we got all of our stuff out. I pulled out my camera, I took one photo, and security guard comes and he was like, "You can't take photos here." And I was just like, but on the website it says I can take photos here. And he was just
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, like with your iPhone, but like this would be considered like a photo shoot for like commercial purposes." And I was like, "No, it's not for commercial purposes. It's just for her Instagram. Like we're just having fun. Like it's just to like it's just for her Instagram, you know?"
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Okay, well, like who is she?" The security guard was really nice. He was just doing his job. But he was like, "Who is she to you?" And I was like, "She's my best friend. Like, we met at school. We like we're both musicians, like, and he was like, "Okay, okay, that's fine then." So he let us continue to take photos. And then she ended up using these two photos as like it was as like a poster for like her tour dates. So I guess in the end it was for commercial, but
Yes. Yeah.
ah,
They don't need to know that though.
no, they don't need
They
to
don't
know
need
that.
to know that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's totally fine.
It's great. I love it. I just love the just the whole thing about it. It's great.
Yeah, I think these were both of our favorite photos from
Hmm.
the day.
Yeah.
And I just love that like white on white with like a
Exactly. And then
like
you have the cello as the
yeah,
contrast, right?
yeah. I just thought that. But honestly, like I feel that this photo was more like the space. The space was so beautiful,
Yeah.
and Daria is so beautiful that I
Yeah.
feel like it was like more like them, and I was just capturing that moment.
Absolutely.
And but yeah, the photo still turned out very very nice.
Yeah. Like what's like is there a favorite place for you to shoot in Toronto so far that you've come come across? Is it the Aga Khan?
Um, Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. Yeah, no, not really. I
Yeah.
kind of just I don't have like a favorite. I don't dislike any place, but I also don't like, oh wow, this was like
Yeah.
a great. I feel like it's more like the experience of like meeting people that
Hmm.
things like really nice. It was really fun to shoot at Aga Khan, but I think it was really stressful because I was just like, oh god,
Yeah.
like any
I
second
know.
and they're gonna kick us out. And
I
we
know.
came all the way here with like all of our clothes and like all of
Yeah.
our just everything. So it was really stressful. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah.
no, I mean, again, for people living in Toronto, just I think it just depends on who's doing security that day, because you may be able to stay, or you might get kicked out.
Yeah,
So just
for
beware.
yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, that security guard was really nice that day.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, I'm glad. I'm glad it worked out well.
he allowed us to stay.
Yeah.
So if you stop there,
Yeah.
And you click on the one to the urban one. Yeah, this one. So this one was
The night walk.
before I took this one,
Yeah.
I was mostly only taking portraits. Because I don't know, like I just liked portraits. And like if you look at like all of the other photos from before this photo on my Instagram, it's mostly just portraits. Um this one was a night walk or an evening night walk with
Yeah. Right.
Brian with Get Out and Shoot. Um and I just kind of went as like a, oh, like I'm just gonna go and have fun and just like meet more people, talk to Brian. And then I like took these shots and then I edited on Lightroom, I posted them up, and I
Mhm.
really ended up liking that first one, especially. I really ended up
Mhm. I
loving
like
it
I
more than,
like how you got the person walking up.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
so random. And
Yeah.
I didn't even, because everyone else was taking photos, I think, of like something else, and it was like really crowded. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm just gonna wait my turn, but to take this photo. But while I wait my turn, like I'm just gonna take some random shots. I saw
Mhm.
him. I wasn't even paying attention to the guy. I saw the symmetry of like that entrance in the middle, and then
Yeah.
the buildings coming out like
I
this.
know. It's
And
like
I was
dominoes. It's
right. So
like dominoes.
I was like, yo, this could make like a really, really nice photo. And
Yeah.
then just coincidentally, I only took one photo. Coincidentally, the photo that I took, this guy was walking out.
Yeah.
And therefore I was like, okay, great. Now I have like a little subject to go with it.
Exactly.
Um, I edited the photo and I like brightened up like, where he's coming out. So it kind of focuses on it. And then I just really loved the photo. And this is still one of my favorites to this day.
100%. Hundred
Uh,
percent.
and this photo, I think, was the photo that made me, or not, I think, but this photo was the photo that made me stray away from portraits. I was like,
Oh, is that right?
yeah, I was
You're
like,
doing more city stuff now, eh?
yes, I was like, I'm gonna take more city stuff. I'm gonna go on more
Hmm.
like city walks. And
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be more open to photo shoots outside of just like portraiture.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, this was the like this was like the photo that I was like, yeah, like city, like urban.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, again, I think especially with like urban or street, like timing is so important because if that person wasn't there, the photo wouldn't as pop as much, right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really important to pay attention to like what's going on. And sometimes things just happen out of pure accident, right? So it's a happy accident, as they say.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And even like I wasn't thinking about this photo at all. Like when I got home to like edit them, and I'm one of those people who like, once I get home, even if it's 12 a.m., like I want to like look at them immediately.
Hmm.
Um, I wasn't even like this photo wasn't even on my radar. There were other photos that were like, oh, those could be quite nice. But looking through it on Lightroom, I was just like, oh, like this is actually a
I
pretty
know. I love it.
photo.
I love it when that happens. When it's like, oh my god, look what happened with this photo. You didn't even realize it at the time, right?
Right, but then I also hate it when the opposite happens, where you have, like,
Yeah, you
high
miss it.
expectations for one photo, and then you
Yeah, it
on
happens. It happens to everyone.
look at it on the computer, you're like, "Oh, like, that's fake."
Yeah. Hey, hey, it happens to everyone. It
Mhm.
happens to everyone. But no, these are some great. I like this one too. You got the car there. What is it? A Maserati?
I have no idea, I'm not a car
Yeah.
person. I just thought the car looked cool.
You got the guy putting ketchup on his hot dog.
Yeah.
I love honestly like hot dog cart photos are great.
Yeah.
You always
I
get some really cool moments.
yeah, I just I saw, like, the light coming, and I was like, "Oh, sure, like, I'll capture." But yeah, so yeah.
You're always paying attention to like the light, right? Yeah, again, reflection of the entire perfect. I know exactly where you shot that. Yeah.
I actually started paying more attention to the light after this photo walk. I
Hmm.
met I met a bunch of people, and I also met Ansi. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
Anthony, yeah, yeah, I
Yes,
know
Ansi,
Anthony.
and she's so sweet, and she showed me like her Instagram, her black and white photography. And
Yeah.
I don't do much black and white
Hmm.
because I'm just not really into it.
Hmm.
Uh, but like, I like was just asking her like, what should I pay attention to? And she was always just like, always pay attention to the light.
Yeah.
And I feel like since then, like I've been more aware of like just like where the light hits and like,
Yeah.
um,
100%.
and I have after that, after talking to her, I have done more like black and white photo shoots.
Yeah.
And photos, and I feel like it's just really, really, like, helpful for, like, composition to be
Hmm.
aware of, like to be aware of those types of stuff. But yeah, I feel like every time I go to, like, a get out and shoot meetup, I'm always meeting another person who, like, enhances my photography, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
That's just the power of meeting people, right? Because, it also just makes it fun just to chat with people,
Mhm.
especially after COVID, right? I mean, it's just great to just meet people in person and just kind of like ask questions and learn and pick pick
Yeah.
up a couple of things, right? Because we all get lost in social media sometimes. That it's easy to forget that there's a person be- behind the account. So whenever you can meet people in real life and just pick their brains, I think that there's a lot of value to that. And I think I'm just speaking for myself personally, but that's just how I learn, right? It's just asking questions because there really are no stupid questions because we all have the same questions at some point,
Yeah.
So to me,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know this. Please explain this. It's like, what do you mean by F-16? Well, let me explain, right? I mean, we've all had that question at times, right? So that's why I always tell people, it's like, especially at the workshops, is like just ask questions because that's what we're all here for,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So, um, but obviously easier said than done. But again, that's again the importance of having like a casual setting where people feel comfortable enough just to ask questions, right? Because we're
Yeah.
all human, and it is what it is. But how else are you gonna learn stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I
so,
totally
but yeah,
agree.
these are some great snaps. Especially with like shooting the CN Tower, like shooting like landmarks. Like I'm always looking for reflections because sometimes you find one that people don't really know about, and it just makes the photo just so much different
Yeah.
instead of the other 1 billion photos of the CN Tower out there. So that's what I always try to do is just to always look up too, like look up, look at windows, reflections, and sometimes you get some good stuff
Mhm.
like this one, right? So
To be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of this photo. I just felt
yeah,
like I was supposed to post something up. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, I just feel like there's, like, I don't know, I just feel like it's a bit, like, stale.
yeah. I don't know. You
And,
know,
like
what I like about it is
Mhm.
like you like the office lights inside.
Yeah, yeah, I thought
That's
that
what I
that was
kind of like about it.
and I think, like, maybe I think that, like, that was, like, okay, like, it's a little bit interesting. But for me, I think I would have liked a little bit more foreground and, like,
Yeah. Hmm.
if you see the corner left of that photo, there actually was more foreground at the because,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
there actually was more foreground, but unfortunately, I had to crop it for Instagram.
The IG crop. Yeah, I know. I know it well.
And when I edited the photo, I liked it a lot more because you had more of that like it was the ceiling. And because you had more of that ceiling, it gave a little bit more depth to the photo, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, I had to crop quite a lot of it, and I think that that's the reason why I
Yeah.
ended up not liking the photo on Instagram.
Yeah. I know. It's that IG crop ruins the photo sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I don't like the way that they crop portrait photos.
Hmm.
Landscape is fine, but for portrait, I don't remember
Hmm.
if they do like 4 by 3 or I'm not sure what the crop is, but I don't like it. I
Four
like the
by
long.
five. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure, but I don't know why they do that, but I don't like it.
Well, it's Instagram. S- But happens to everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's Eric, right?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
Eric. He's so
Mhm.
sweet. This was on the same walk as the
Yeah.
photo that you just pulled up.
Yeah.
Brian literally took us to an alleyway. um,
Graffiti Alley, yeah.
yeah, and he was just
Yeah.
like, "Do like some smoke bombs." I'm like, "What? What are those?"
I know, right?
And he just pulled it up, and I modeled for it too. So it was me,
Okay.
another girl that I forgot her name, she was Persian though, and Eric,
Okay.
and like we each had turns, we each modeled, and the saving grace for this photo, honestly, was that someone was just like I don't know, I feel like everyone was like so prepared and I wasn't, but
Mm.
someone was like, I have these like lights that you just like put on the floor and it just like
Yeah.
Yeah, and I edited out. So they were there in the photo, but I took it out of the photo, just because I didn't like I didn't like how it just like looked in the photo. So I took
Mm,
out the lights, but like the way that the light hit the smoke really illuminated like the smoke and made like and just it just made the photo like so much better. Um,
mhm,
because we also did a few shots without the lights and it just looks completely different.
yeah,
But with the lights, we could also lower our shutter speed.
yeah,
So, like, so it like wasn't like as blurry and it was like the images were just like a lot sharper.
yeah.
And Eric's a great model. He looks
Yeah,
great.
he's crushing it. He should start charging soon.
I was just like, "Yo, like, do you model?" Because he was really, really good. He really killed
Yeah,
this. And he
yeah.
was like,
He's
"Oh,
got the look. He's got the look. He's got the hair. He's got the look, you know?
yeah, he does. He like,
Yeah.
and like when he was doing the shoot, it
Mhm.
was so like the way that he was like, posing was
Yeah.
very like, okay, you know what you're doing.
Mhm.
And yeah, and then I ended up like I just loved it. But what I loved most about the photo, aside from like, obviously his posing and and then just like how he looks, is the preset that I
Mhm.
use. I don't know, like I think it just looks so cool. And I
What's the
actually
preset?
I don't remember,
Is it
but it
from
was
Lightroom?
sorry?
Is it from Lightroom?
No. So
You made it?
basically, I was looking around YouTube and I was just like, usually when I'm bored, I like to go on YouTube and I like to look at
Mhm.
like, oh, like vintage preset, like
Yeah.
retro preset, like those type of stuff. So I found a bunch of retro presets.
Okay.
So I like played around with that and eventually I came to this.
Okay.
Um, and I don't know, like I just really liked it. I was
Yeah,
like,
it works. It works. It's you know what? It's almost like a painting.
it is. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It
Wow.
is. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think it's
lots of fun, eh?
sorry?
Lots of fun. Yeah, and you got the smoke going here.
Yes, and the smoke was more blue, it wasn't so teal.
Mhm.
But I think personally I'm not a fan of navy blue, so a
Mhm.
lot of the times when there's blue in my photos, I like to just turn into like a little bit of teal. I don't like that
Yeah.
like that
I
that
guess I guess the teal pops more, eh? A little bit.
I think so, and I think
A
it
little
just
more
makes
vibrant.
yeah, more
Yeah,
vibrant,
a
more
little more
lighter,
vibrant.
more brighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it works better with like his yellow shirt.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good, I like it. You're paying attention to the details,
Thank you.
which is great. I love it. There's some more city stuff, eh?
This was the shot, that I was like, "Wow, like, this is so good," and I took a bunch of them,
Yeah.
and it looks nice. It looks nice, but it wasn't, like, as nice as I remembered it when I was actually taking
Mhm.
it. This was the shot that I was just like, "This is gonna be, like, amazing,"
Mhm.
and then I edited it, and I was like, "It's not that nice. It's okay. I like
But
it."
this spot's a 'cause, you're right by the Sky Dome, right? So it's a great spot to, because
It
you're up high, because 'cause you're up high, that's why.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think that that's probably what made me so like, "Whoa."
Yeah,
But then looking at it, I like the edit, and I like that it's, like, the contrast, like, the blue and the reds popping,
yeah.
and the blue and the oranges,
Mhm.
with the pylons and the lights. But yeah, there's not much to this photo.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. I
aside
can
from
work.
the color contrast that I do really like in this photo.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Orange, red's always, especially red, because red is like it just draws the eye because red's represents danger. So whenever you get red in a photo, it just makes the photo pop.
Yes, my fiancé really liked this photo though.
Okay.
Yeah, and
No,
she
it's just a great spot because you're up high, you're like over the street.
yeah.
Yeah, it works out. Trying long exposures. Yeah.
Yes,
You
this
broke your
one
tripod.
I did, I broke it right before this shot.
No,
I had,
no.
like, a really cheap tripod that I got from Amazon for, like, I don't
Mm,
know, maybe, like, 30, $40. And I don't even know what I did. I think it caught on, like, my pants, and then I
no,
tripped and
no.
it broke. So and then I was like really bummed out, and I was like, no, like I came all the way here to take this photo, so like I
Yeah.
have to like I at least want one shot. So I like
Hmm.
kind of propped the tripod up. Like I don't know what I did. I did some sort of like contraption. Um, but if you look closely at the lights, it's kind of like it kind of does this a little bit because my tripod was broken.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks.
And I was like and I was like I was literally like holding it like this, and trying
Yeah.
not to move. But I ended up
Mm,
buying another tripod and all was good.
okay. Do you have any other long exposures here? Like
There's
this one?
there's that one which I don't really like, but
Really? Okay.
I
No,
did like the real one. Um, yeah, yeah. Not my favorite, but
no.
like sure, I'll post it.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, works.
and then the other long exposures would just be like the light one.
Right, yeah.
And then these are, and then I think like Pride was like a drastic change for me from like,
Yeah. So
yeah,
good, eh? Yeah. Really
yeah,
good stuff.
yeah. And then my Pride photos did very well, and a lot of people like them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nice. Good stuff.
the group that I was walking with, I took a bunch of photos of them, and they were really really nice and welcoming.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, they were just such a fun group to photograph. I was lucky that I got to walk with such like an amazing group.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It helps, right?
Yeah, yeah, and they
It
were like
helps.
their spirit was just like amazing. So like I feel like that's what made like the photos so good.
Yeah.
And then this
100%.
is just like a cottage trip. So this is a real it did really nice. Like it
Yeah.
just still like has like 14K views. I don't know like what
Nice.
happened, but it
Yeah.
does.
That's how reels go sometimes.
It does. And the
Yeah.
ones that you expect to do very well, they're
Yeah.
like
Never do.
horrible.
I know that well.
That you barely put any effort into like this one. They're
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah, no, that looks like a fun trip.
It was. It's we go on this trip every year, so it's just me
Yeah.
and my friends having fun and like we just I don't know, it's like a super chill time. This is our ninth year doing this.
Nice.
And then this is the only year that I've like taken like nice photos. Uh,
Right.
so I was really excited to bring it up. Um
Where's the cottage at?
Halliburton.
Halliburton. Nice.
Yeah.
I like this photo a lot.
I like it too, but my friend did not like it.
No?
In the photo.
Who's your
Uh,
friend here?
She's Amber. This is my friend Amber. She's very, very, very beautiful. This is Shayna, and that's Amber again.
Okay.
They're both very beautiful people, and yeah, I just just took a bunch of photos of them paddle boarding.
Yeah. It just got that
Paddleboarding
cottage
is a
feel
lot.
to it.
Yes, and I think I like this photo a lot just because of like that foreground that you have,
Mhm.
and then the way that the leaves kind of like frame her
Yeah.
with the foreground. I think looks
Yes.
beautiful. Works very, very well.
Yeah. 100%. So what's that in the foreground? Is that like a branch or a leaf?
I think it was a branch.
Branch, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
If
so.
it wasn't for that foreground, I wouldn't like it so
Yeah.
much.
So you're
But
always like you're always looking for foreground, huh?
I am. I'm looking for foreground and I'm looking for light.
Yeah.
Those are the two things.
It's a good approach.
So so if you scroll down to the Pride photos,
Yep.
one thing that I love, like I
Mhm.
love doing this,
Mhm.
um, but is like taking photos of people in a crowd, and
Yeah.
it's unfortunate because I hate crowds.
Yeah.
Um, but taking photos of people in the crowd and using the people around them to kind of frame them.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so if you click on that photo in the middle, yeah, so you have that guy in the front, and the way that his
Mhm.
arm is like up
Mhm.
at the feet, it kind of just like frames him a little bit. It frames his face.
Yeah.
Um, and then if you like scroll past the other photos, like I keep doing this, not this one, or this one. This
I like
one.
this.
I
That's
love this photo, and I
very
love
good.
it because there's someone at the front, and then there's someone behind her. They're
Yeah.
both in black, and it
Yeah.
just kind of like
Yeah. It
kind of
works. And
frames it.
and and she's wearing a colorful top.
And
So
yes, they're
contrast.
wearing black and she's wearing white, and I think, like,
Yeah,
and she's so happy, and the expression is just so beautiful.
yeah.
Um, and, like, ultimately, I think, like, I love capturing, like, pure, like, emotions, like, real emotions, like her.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, and I think, like, just her energy is also why this photo is so, in my opinion, so successful. It's such a
Yeah.
beautiful photo.
No, it's a great photo.
Yeah, I love it.
You just got that moment bang on.
Yes, yeah. This
Mhm.
photo is really lovely too because, it just so happened, like, his pride earrings just
Mhm.
landed, like, right on the top, like,
Yeah,
pride, and I'm like, "Oh, perfect."
yeah, 100%. There's some good stuff here.
Oh, he was, like, like, MVP of the entire
Yeah,
pride. He was so fun. He was amazing.
yeah, 100%. Oh, nice one. I like how you what is that someone in the foreground there?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then yeah, that's good.
yeah. And I think there's one more that I took like that, but I don't remember. Not sure. Yeah, I
Oh,
guess
nice.
not this one. Um,
Okay.
but oftentimes when I'm in a crowd and I'm filming and
Mhm,
I'm taking photos of people, I
mhm.
always look for a way to kinda, like, frame them with other people. Um,
Yeah.
I think that, like, those are, like those are, like, the best photos.
Yeah, like, you
Beautiful.
got the guy in the bandana in the background, so it's cool.
Mhm. Um, but yeah, I think filming Pride was like a huge, like, turnaround for me. So,
Yeah,
in a sense of, like, figuring out, like, what I want to do as a photographer.
yeah.
And I think Pride was kinda like my not journey, but just, like, more looking more into, like, photojournalism.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, yeah, and I really
Queens Quay random parking. This is it before earlier.
Oh, this is
I didn't
earlier?
see it because I was sharing your IG, but
Oh,
hit
that's
Roy.
vertical line plus the entire
Yeah,
reflection.
earlier. Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, like, do you have any goals with like your photography? Do you want to go to a specific place with your work, or is it right just a hobby like at the time being?
I think for the time being, it is a very serious hobby. Um, yeah, for the time being. I had a professor, he wasn't my professor,
Hmm.
um, but he was very, like, there was just so many things, like, he imparted us with so much wisdom, but
Yeah,
he said, "Don't ever make your passion your career."
yeah.
Um,
There's that argument. Yeah,
yes, and what he means by that is, like, don't make it, like, your income, like, not
right,
necessarily your career. And
right.
I think I really do live by that. I don't want
Mhm.
photography I don't want to be chasing gigs that I don't want to do,
Yeah,
because I have to pay the bills. I already have something that pays the bills for me, and that's
yeah,
music, that's teaching, and I'm happy with that.
yeah.
And, like, I'm not, like, 100% passionate about that, but I like it, and I
Mhm.
really do love teaching. Um, and I think, like, for the foreseeable future and in the meantime, I will continue teaching to make money,
Yeah.
to fund my photography because again, I don't want to like I don't know, like I don't want to worry about like, oh God, like I haven't like I need to take this gig because it pays well, but I don't actually want to do it and I'm just
Mhm.
like dreading going and I'm just like dreading um like
Yeah.
editing and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
like I don't want to
Yeah.
be in that position
Yeah.
ever with photography because I always want photography to be enjoyable and like fun
Mhm.
and something for me to do.
100%. 100%. Yeah. I mean, once you turn something that you like to do into like what you do for a job, it just becomes different, right? So people have to be aware of what they're getting themselves into because the grass is always greener until you realize that it's not sometimes, because
Yeah.
hobby like doing something for fun versus doing something for work is two completely different things because now you're working for someone else, right? You're no longer working for yourself as a hobby. You're working for someone else or your clients or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
people just need to be aware of like what they're getting themselves into because if you're at a job that you don't like, it's easy to see that the grass is greener because I want to get out of here. But you know
Well, I do want it to become a career eventually,
yeah.
but I don't want to like, if it's a career that I never make money out of, like, I'll
Hmm.
be okay. I'll find something else to make
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
But if, like, for example, like, if, like, I like, my Instagram is, like, 100K followers or whatever, and, people are, like, looking at my photos and, I'm, like, traveling for photography, then it's just, like, great, like, it's my career, but, like, am I necessarily making money out of that?
Hmm.
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a good point. I mean, in the end, it's like people have to remember like why they started in the first place because it's easy to get lost in like the rabbit hole. So I always tell people, especially myself too. I just tell myself all the time, is like you gotta do it for yourself first, especially when you're just starting. Because if you're trying to please other people, generally it's not going to go well, right? So you always got to do it for yourself first, and whatever happens, happens. But if you don't stay true to what you like to do, then things will get very difficult pretty quickly, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that.
Yeah,
And
because you're trying to build your following, you're trying to build your account, you're trying to build whatever. But if you're trying to please everyone but yourself, you're not going to last too long, right? That's why people get burned out too, right? So
yes, because
tough,
they're
tough.
too focused on,
Yeah, it's a yeah. I
like,
mean,
how things might look, like,
yeah,
especially on
exactly.
Instagram. It's hard. It's very, very
It's
difficult.
hard, right? So, like it sounds easy, but trying to do something for yourself first, sometimes it's not. So that's what I try to tell people too. It's like if you're not if you're not having fun, if you're not doing something for yourself first, then better be pretty careful with what you're getting into. Because again, it's so easy not to do it. That's why people quit all the time, right? They quit photography, they quit video, they quit whatever it is,
Mhm.
and because I just why do people say I lost my passion? Why do people say that? It's like, well, didn't you like doing that? And then 2 years later, it's like, oh, I don't do that anymore. It happens all the time.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
feel like I can, like, really, really say that as someone who went into school for music and, like,
Exactly.
pursued a career in music.
Yeah.
Because every time I tell people this, like, "Yeah, I'm, like, musician, play the violin, I teach," everyone's always like, "Wow, like, that's awesome, like, you must love it, that must be, like," but it's just like, no one ever says that about, like, "Oh, yeah, I'm an accountant," like, "Oh, wow, like,
Yeah, that must be.
that must like, you must be so."
Shout out to all the accountants out there.
Yeah, but, like,
Mhm.
there are people who are very, very passionate about
Yeah,
accounting, but for
we
some
need
reason
we need them.
we do, but for some reason, you
Mhm.
automatically assume that if you're in the arts, like, wow, like, that must be you just play every day, you just have fun every
No,
day. Like,
no, it's work.
no, that is
It's
not that is like a
Yeah, it's
fake.
still work. It's still
Yeah,
work. Yeah,
it is.
yeah, I know.
That's like a
Pe-
fake
pe- People have this perception that the arts is like this, like loosey goosey child's play thing. It's like,
yeah,
well, no, it's not.
you just go and play every day. I'm like, I
No,
wish I went and played every day.
never. It's funny. It's funny how people think that. But because especially when you try to make something that you like to do, like your job or your career, your side hustle, like it's actually even more work versus a 9 to 5. Because if you're at a 9 to 5, then the owner or the boss has to handle all the fires. But if you're trying to do something yourself, you're trying to build your own brand, or you're trying to build like a side hustle, or like your own business, then you're handling everything. Like it's a 24/7 gig, so it's actually even more work.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
actually you're actually working all the time every day because it's just you. You don't have to answer to anyone.
you are, and, like,
Yeah,
I always find, like, people who are like, "Oh, like, like, turn your side hustle into, like,
yeah,
your."
but that means you're working every day, all day.
Yeah.
Because it's you. There's no one else.
It's like, do you really want that, And
It's a
then
lot.
other
It's a
people are
lot. It's people. Yeah. I think people because people just see like the home runs on social media. It's like, wow, that must be great. It's like, well, I'm working 18 hours a day.
it's like,
So
"Oh, that must be so easy, you just take
yeah.
photos." I wish it was just taking
So
photos.
you know what? Sometimes working a 9 to 5 is great because you don't have to worry about anything after 5 o'clock. Go home.
It
That's it. Right. So
is.
um, again, that's what's social media fuels that hustle game, which I think is slowly coming down. I think there's an anti-hustle message coming about now where it's like you don't have to work all the time. Like there is like work-life balance and mental health, which is super important. So I think that's slowly coming through on social media now. you
The
know
millennium hustle culture. Like, yeah.
yeah, because again, you're just going to get burnt out, and then you're not going to do the thing that you were doing. So
Yeah.
what's the point?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
and that comes with any, not photography, whatever, like whatever the thing is. Like that's just like a generic thing. But
Mhm.
I don't know. It's like we want to do something we like to do, but are you willing to put in the work required? Right.
Mhm.
So
But if you're not willing, like, I think, like, that's
yeah,
fine.
again, yeah,
Right.
that's right. That's why that's why I mentioned it's like, yeah, the grass is always greener until you realize it's not.
Yeah.
You don't see all the work that goes behind the scenes of people building businesses and side hustles and brands and sponsorships. Like you don't see the work, you just see the reel on Instagram. It's like, wow, that they're going to Tahiti. That's fantastic. Meanwhile,
Mhm.
there's something else going on.
Yeah.
But you gotta be having fun. Like you need to like to me, it's like at the bare minimum, like photography is just like therapy because you go out with your camera for half an hour, you take some photos, you just feel better
Mhm.
at its core, right?
Mhm.
And whatever happens after happens, but at that moment you feel good because you went out, you took some stuff, and you just it's like a de-stressor, right? For me it is, because if you had a bad day, you go out, take some photos, it just de-stresses you because it takes your mind off stuff,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, like, necessarily like that for me, but I will say that,
Mhm.
like, photography has taught me to let go of, like,
Yeah,
the idea that you have to be, like, very, very good at something, but I
yeah,
still hold on to that. Like, it's very difficult for me to let go of that, and, like, I feel like, I don't know, like,
yeah.
sometimes I'm just, like, so, like, itchy to take more photos is because, like, I'm not like, I need to be better than this, like, my
Mm,
photos need to look like that. That
yeah, no, I know, I
taking
know.
photographs for 9 years.
Yeah, I know. So
Yeah.
just curious, like, are your parents in music?
No.
No. So they just they bought you a violin and they just said you need to become a pro now.
I begged my mom to buy me a violin for,
Okay.
like, years and years and years. So she was like, "Okay, but if I buy you a violin and we do lessons, then you're
Right.
going to, like, you're gonna take it seriously,
Yeah.
and you have to, like, when you grow up, like, it was never a question. It was like, when you grow up, you have to be like, you have to be
Wow.
a pro. You have to, like, you have to make the money back. The
Yeah.
money that we have put into your lessons has to have been worth something." And it
Mm,
can't just be like a hobby that you just, like, don't do because we put a lot of money into it. So it was like that.
interesting.
Yeah, so
Oh. Oh. Hmm.
healthy, very
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah. Like, is your family like in like the arts? Are they like an art?
No,
No,
no.
you're so you're the first person in the family to have like an arts kind of
Yes.
background. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So growing up, it
Interesting.
was me, my mom, my brother,
Yeah.
and my older brother. And yeah, my mom was just like really like she didn't have a lot of money. She was like almost bankrupt. Like she was like it was just not good. And then my brother is just like he's very, 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 very smart and he's like a very strategic person. And he's a
Hmm.
very like, like this is the goal, these are the steps, boom, 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 boom,
Right.
boom, done. And he's actually running to be a city councilor in Ottawa, so, like,
No
that
way.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But he's very, like he's very just, I don't wanna say simple, but, like, he doesn't have any ambition for, like, arts and, like, I
Right.
don't wanna say he's not creative either, but, like, in terms of, like, that type of creativity, so,
Yeah.
yes, I am, like, the only person in my family who is, like, in the arts. Um, and
Very
yeah,
cool.
I don't know how it happened, but it did.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes things just happen, right? That's how
Yeah,
life goes sometimes.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad you kept going. We're up against the hour, so don't want to keep too much of your time. Any final thoughts for the listeners, viewers?
No, no final thoughts. Um, yeah, no final thoughts.
No final thoughts?
No, I'm just
Any advice for people that are starting into photography? Maybe a quick word of advice for people that are starting.
um, I won't say I won't say photography because I feel like I haven't been in the field long enough to really, like, give proper advice, but I will say,
Mhm.
like, if you're starting anything, like, do it for the right reasons and,
Yeah.
like, don't immediately think like, "Oh, like, I wanna make money out of this," you know? Because eventually like eventually, yeah, like absolutely if that's your goal. But I think that initially anything that you have to do, and I've learned this the hard way, but anything that you do, you have to really actually enjoy doing it before you can think of like, oh, like, like I'm going to make a bunch of money. I'm going to make a bunch of money and I'm just going to like, like be like super good and people are going to be
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, just things like that. I would say like make sure that you actually enjoy the things
It
that you do.
sounds simple, but sometimes it's not so simple.
It's not, and it's taken me a long time to realize that, and I'm still having a hard time like realizing that. Like I'm still sometimes like trying to push myself to like, oh, find a niche so that like I have to find a niche now so that I can build my Instagram so I can get more followers and that like I can do this. But it's hard for me to like take a step back and be like, okay, like I'm like I'm still in my first year, and right now the priority should just be learning and not like
Yeah.
any exterior stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah, no, it's well put. Really glad you came on. Maybe we'll have you gone. Maybe we'll have you on again sometime later this year or next year. Maybe see what you're up to.
yeah, we
You
can
good. You got some good stuff, which I like. So yeah, thanks. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time. Glad we were able to work out the schedule.
no,
And
thank you for having
thanks
me.
everyone for watching, listening. Thanks Marie for jumping on. And it was good.
Yeah. Thanks, Marie.
Love it, love it. So thanks again, and we'll see you Wednesday. We have someone else coming on, and should be great. This is our first Sunday. I kind of like the Sundays. It's kind of more chill. I don't know. It's a
We
weird thing.
should. The Sundays, we
I
should.
started liking the Sundays a little bit, so
Yeah,
I'm glad we did it.
yeah.
Anyway, thanks everyone for listening, watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.